Hello everyone. I'm going to take a couple of minutes to show you how to use Microsoft Word within Office 365, and it's important to realise that Office 365 is online. So the software is actually on the web, it's not on your computer, and it's also important to realise that when you save a file or any piece of work, it's actually in the cloud. It's not on the computer. So that brings a little bit of a change if you've used Microsoft Word or Excel on a computer before. We're working slightly differently now, but it actually has quite a lot of advantages. So let me show you how to create a file and save it. So the first thing I would like you to do is go to the Ayrshire College website at this address and click My Learning. I've highlighted it here on the screen. Okay, we're now going to be asked to log in using Office 365. So if you've done this before, you may not see the screen, the next two screens that we're going to show you. But if this is the first time, you're more likely to see the screen that I'm going to show you. So you click in, and then because this was the first time I was going in, it's asked me what account I'm going to use. So I'm going to use this fake account for a student. And it's asking me what my password is for that account. So I'm going to put that in. Again, it's asking me, do I want to stay signed in? And again, that's a decision you have to make depending on whether that's your own computer and you're the only person using that computer. If it is, then yeah, staying logged in has a lot of advantages. If you're using a public computer, I definitely would not stay logged in because somebody can come up and easily get into your email and your files. So have a wee think about what situation would work best for you in your circumstances. Okay, so I'm going to open an online version of Microsoft Word, and Word is likely to be the application I think that you will use most frequently. There's other apps available, and you'll see PowerPoint there and Excel, and some things that you maybe have heard mentioned but not used. Teams on the right hand side is one that's going to be a big part of learning online this year, and we'll come back to that in another video, but we're going to focus on Word at the moment. So if you're logged into the My Learning site, you will now see this screen, and what I would like to do is look at right hand side, because I'm just going to take a moment to show you something. What I want you to realise is we've got my email, my forms, my OneNote, my OneDrive, my Stream, my Teams. Each of these have a different function, can help you in a different way in learning. But I also want to show you something that appears on the screen, regardless of which one you click. Something appears on the screen that can help you and help you navigate where you will find your work. So let's say I click on my email first of all. Look what comes up. Now, there's the screen that's in my email, but I want you to notice these 9 dots up in the top left. They're really important. Now, I clicked on my email there. I'm not going to click those 9 dots yet. Let's say that I went back and it was actually my OneDrive. You may not be aware of what my OneDrive is at the moment, but let's say I clicked on it. There's my OneDrive. Actually, it's a bit like the drawer that has all your files in it. A bit like your drawer at home in your kitchen. It's got lots of different things in it. But what's important is those 9 dots appear again. Now, if I clicked on my forms, guess what? You've guessed it. The 9 dots appear again, and those 9 dots are really important because if you were to click on them, regardless of which one of those things that I just showed you, my email, my forms, my OneDrive, you would see the same drop down. Now, I've just repeated the same drop down 3 times to confirm I took each one of these from my email, my OneDrive, and my forms, and I could have taken it from any of the other apps that you see there. OneNote, SharePoint, Sway, Teams. They expand to show the exact same drop down, and that's really reassuring because you know if you click those 9 dots, you're going to see the exact same thing. So let's go back. Let's say we click on my email. And what I would like to do is now click on those 9 dots within the my email. And I'm going to select Word. So what I want to do now is start typing something in Microsoft Word. Okay, now the online version appears. Now it's slightly different from maybe what you've experienced in the past, but if you're new to it, what it's really saying is it's selected. I put a red box around the new blank document, which makes sense. It's highlighting and saying, do you want to open up something? Because there's nothing actually here. This is the first time you've come in. So yeah, I want a new document, so I'm going to click that. Now, because it's the first time I've been in to Word online, it's just saying about my privacy option and I want updates and so on. So I'm just going to click close. And there's a blank page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type some text. And there's the text I've typed. I'm using this document as an example of saving a file from Microsoft Word in Office 365. So I've typed some text. And do you notice that the file is just called document 1? That doesn't really tell us anything. It's the first document that I've typed. So let's change the name to something more meaningful. So how do we do that? Well, I want you to go up, look up to the left underneath the 9 dots, and you'll see File. So I want you to click there, and a drop down comes down. And at left hand side in the blue, I want you to click Save As, and then the right hand side just Save As again. Now it's saying Save As because it's the very first time it's been saved. Sometimes if you're familiar with using Word, it may have said save and save as. It always only offers save as the first time you save anything. So save as is the right option here. Okay, so a box appears. So I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to call it an example of saving a file in Office 365. So that really tells me what's in that file. I don't need to open it up. I know that, oh, that's just an example that I did for one of the videos. And then we're going to click Save. Now, look where the name has gone. There it is at the top of the file and it's saved. And what's really interesting about using Microsoft Word or any other of these apps through 365 is that you don't need to regularly save. It saves it automatically. And that's terrific. Because if you forget to save, it's always up to date. But the first time you want to probably save it is to give it a name. Otherwise, you'll have document 1, document 2, document 3. You can see where this is going. And that's not going to tell you anything. It's a waste of your time when you look at a huge list of things called document. It's far, far better to actually give it a meaningful name that tells you what's the content of that file. Okay, so what I'd like you to do, we're in Word, but I'd like you to click the 9 dots. And the list comes down of all the different apps that are available in 365. By the way, there's actually more apps, but this is the kind of basic ones. I want you to click OneDrive because OneDrive is really important. It's not necessarily, I don't view it as an app to do a specific job the way Word works with text and Excel works with numbers. OneDrive is a bit like I said earlier, a bit like your kitchen drawer. It has everything in it. So it actually gives you an overview of all your files. And look what we can see there. There's the file that I had. Example of saving a file in Office 365. And what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to click on New because we're going to create a folder. And you'll see the drop down and then you'll see the folder option. So I'd like you to click Folder at the top. It's a wee yellow folder. And we're going to give it a name. Now, you can give your folders any names that are meaningful to you. For example, you might want to name your folders after each subject that you're doing in college so that you can put all your work into the correct folder. Believe me, it might seem a little bit of work initially to do that, but the saving and being able to find your files easily is well worth the effort of creating the folders in the first instance. So take the time to create a folder for each of your subjects. Now, a lot of subjects get essential skills, especially those classes that are below an HNC will get essential skills. So I'm going to create a folder called essential skills. So just type in essential skills and I'm going to click create and there's the folder. So what that folder is, it's a bit like a kind of a drawer or a shoebox or anything. And I can then put all my files in there. So it's easy for me then to find them in future. But unfortunately, as you can see, I've got a folder, but I've got something outside it, and that's the file that I created earlier. So what we're going to do is we're going to drag that file, example of saving a file in Office 365, and I'm going to put it into the folder. So here we go. So what you do is you click to the left of it just to select the file. So you can see I've highlighted that wee circle. And then I'm going to keep my finger down on my mouse, on my mouse pad, and push that file over the folder. And what will happen is you see the dotted line. it will put the file into that folder. So here goes. Now it looks like the file's disappeared, but it's actually inside the folder, and that's it. So we started by creating a file inside Microsoft Word. We named it. Then we decided to go into OneDrive to see all my files, but there only was one file. So I decided at this point to create a folder for that class. So I named it Essential Skills, and you can go up and do new as many times as you want and create folders for each of your subjects. And then I pushed that file into that folder. So we've created a Word file in Office 365 online and saved it into a folder. Okay, so here's some things that I just want to quickly go over with you. Office 365 has many apps that you can use, so we've just used one, Microsoft Word. Microsoft Word and Excel are available online. That's an important difference this year. Normally we would have used the computers in the college, and that software was actually loaded onto those computers. It's not now. We're actually accessing it through the web. All your files are stored in the cloud, not on the computer when you access Office 365. And one of the great things about that is your files are saved automatically. However, if you don't save them and give them a different name, you'll have lots of documents called Document 1, Document 2. It's far better to give it a name. So I showed you how to do that, File and Save As. Organise your work through OneDrive and use folders for subjects. That's my advice, and I think it works well for most students. Having a separate folder for each subject will help you in the long run find work. Okay, it's really important, the last 2 points. Don't worry if you don't understand everything immediately. It took me a long time to actually figure out how everything pieces together, but I got there. And of course, you know this, the more practice you have, the easier it will be. So create some folders, give them a name, then try deleting them. Don't put anything in them if you're going to delete them, obviously, but mess about with it. Try creating a folder for each of your subjects in your timetable, and I'm sure it will work really well for you in the long run. Okay, I hope this has been useful. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.